What's going on, guys? Frankie Forsyth back here with another video. Today I want to go back to the topic I haven't really talked about on this channel in a while, but I want to talk about semen retention today. I'm currently on day 30, about a month in, and I want to talk about how, semen retention is ultimately just another form of fasting. You're fasting from your sexual desires, which is ultimately going to lead to you being able to control those desires and put them into other things. If you've ever fasted from food or other things like drugs or stuff like this, you'll very quickly realize how much more time you have to do the things that you were meant to do, to find your destiny, to find what essentially the meaning of life is to you. And a lot of people are disconnected from this nowadays, and a big part of this is how much sex is pushed on, especially our generation. I guess you could consider me Gen Z. I'm kind of on the brink between Gen Z and millennial, but this has been pushed on us for basically our entire lives. I mean, a lot of us started watching pornography since we were like in middle school or early high school. We've been basically indoctrinated with sexuality, and this is not normal sexuality. This was sexuality that was basically forced upon us since we were kids. And when you're a child, you have a much more malleable mind. That's why this kind of stuff is a lot harder for us to overcome than, say, our parents or grandparents and stuff like this. But once you start to fast from your sexual desires and your need for validation from females, you will realize that you have so much more time to enjoy life, so much more time to have the real introspection and self-actualization that you need to find yourself and find what you want out of this life and what you ultimately want for yourself, whether you want a family, kids, whether you want to search for God, search for meaning, whether you want to build your body, build your intelligence by reading books and knowledge base, whatever it is that you ultimately seek in your heart. This gives you the time to do that and the focus. This ultimately gives you the focus to do that, because a lot of people are so distracted, especially with, this video is about sexuality. But I mean, if you fast from anything, drugs, food, you'll realize that you have so much more time to yourself, so much more time to dedicate to the things that you know you need to do with your life, or that you want to do with your life. Now, what I want to point out is that fasting from your sexuality is a lot different from fasting from food, because food is very easy to acquire nowadays. You don't have to go out there and hunt. You don't have to go out there and gather the materials you need. You just go to the supermarket, most likely, depending on where you live. But like right now, I'm in Bulgaria. There's only a small market around here, and it's a lot more difficult to find food, which is sometimes you have to put more time into these things. So when you're fasting, you have a lot more time when you are doing these kind of things. When you have to go to the market, say a mile away or something, 2 miles away, just to get the ingredients you need, and you have to cook the food. You have a lot more time when you're fasting. Now, especially for men that have trouble getting women or have trouble attracting women and stuff like this, I'm talking about men who actively try to do things to combat this, or are constantly after female validation and attention. A lot of people think about this kind of stuff the entire day. They don't go a day without thinking about, how can I get a woman, or what can I do today to further myself, whether it's money. Building your body is another thing. I mean, that's something I have done in the past, you can see, and I currently still do. I think that's a cornerstone of masculinity to begin with, but it ultimately comes with females as well. But, and I'm not saying you should forgo this or forgo getting money, but when you fast from the desire for female attention and female validation, you ultimately realize that there's so much more to life than that. There's so much more to life than trying to bring the prettiest female with you to a party or something so people can see how much of a man you are, right? There's another fallacy that they push on you nowadays, is that you have to have a very attractive woman to be seen as a man or be seen as a successful man. I know plenty of successful men that they don't worry about females. They might get females by just as a product of who they are, who they have become, because females gravitate to people, to men who are bettering themselves. And this is why semen retention attracts females, because you're no longer putting your focus on them. You're putting your focus on yourself and on your own mind, because everything starts in your mind. Everything, every thought, every creation. I mean, this here is God's creation, right? I guess you could say this started in the mind of God, the cosmic mind. But every creation that you see, cars, right here underneath me, I know you guys can't see it, but there's a wheelbarrow. Everything that man creates has started in the mind. So when you fast from things like drugs, food, and in this video I'm talking about females and chasing that kind of validation and chasing that sexual gratification, you'll realize that you have much more power in your mind to create the life that you want, or create whatever you want in this life. Whether it's a business, whether it's your body, whether, like I said before, whether it's knowledge, wisdom, relationships with women or men, you have a lot more mental power and focus to do that when you can fast from, because that's the ultimate primal desire. Maybe food and water would obviously come before that, but this is a very, very ingrained thing in humans. I mean, by God, by biology, every man wants to have sex, and not every man wants to reproduce, but it's ingrained in you as a human being, the animal side of you. So when you see these if you know symbolism or alchemy, you see these things about killing the animal or killing the bull or slaying the dragon, right? Slaying the animal desires within yourself. Because when you can do this, when you can conquer the animal desires in yourself, you've conquered the lower state of mind, and that's when you can raise up levels of consciousness. This is ultimately alchemy. This is when you can see greater things. You can raise your level of intuition, raise your level of wisdom by raising your levels of discipline. And I haven't gone this far. Like I said, right now I'm on day 30. I haven't gone this far in a while. I've been doing what I've done before. I've been with females in the past, months. I've made videos on this channel before, like years. I think maybe a year ago was maybe when I made the last one. But once you start to get back on this journey, you start to understand again and start to have that intuition again about how much this really matters and how much this really, how much of a profound effect that this can have on your life and your focus, your discipline. Because, I mean, once you can conquer that desire, that innate desire that's in you as a human, there's so much you can conquer in the world. Alright, that's it for this video, guys. Let me know if you guys have any comments on that, or if you guys want me to do any more semen retention videos. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.